loud enough?
You're gonna say welcome back to another NFL episode of Sippin'
What I say, another episode?
Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of Sippin' Sports.
Okay. So
Yeah. If you can do
To another episode.
if you
of
can
Sippin'
do it at the same volume that you did
To another episode.
that
of Sippin'
part,
Sports.
Another episode of Sippin' Sports.
then because you kind of started off quieter.
Welcome back to another episode of
So if you can do it how you did the middle part the whole time, then that'd be ideal.
Welcome back to another NFL episode of Sippin' Sports. Definitely faded off.
Welcome back to another NFL episode of Sippin' Sports.
Fuck it.
I like it.
And then just do the music.
Yeah. All right.
He's still playing. So fuck it on. Staying out there.
Yeah.
Wait, so how do you want to do this part? Do you want to just start talking?
Yeah, we're jumping right in.
So do you want to start?
I can start this
Okay.
part, yeah. We are here talking NFL. I know everybody's probably seen the news. Free agency has started. The craziness has been happening. So we're going to break it all down for you. Specifically offensive players. I feel like that's what most people care about, mainly because it's fantasy. And we'll just hit you with some hit you with some of the biggest signings, biggest changes, and we'll
Probably names you'll recognize.
and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, so
We're starting with quarterback. Biggest one was who?
obviously Kirk Cousins.
That's right.
And to be honest,
Sayonara.
yeah, Falcons,
Buddy.
4 years, 180 million. I think what's crazy is I thought we were getting a hometown discount, but that's not a
No
hometown
way.
discount. I mean, this bro's got to be one of the highest paid guaranteed quarterbacks of all time.
At that rate, they can
He's
have
getting
him.
180 million guaranteed in the last two contracts.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What's the guarantee for this?
100.
Yeah.
100.
That's a lot. That's a little rich for my blood.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we did not do that.
No, I'm glad we didn't either. And here's the thing. I mean, potentially for the Falcons, good for you guys. I mean, that's a conference or that's a division you can win.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the Bucks are pretty good, but you can win.
Literally, you can win every year.
And now you have a new coach, so that helps too. And so
Mhm.
kind of roll with that. But yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah, that was the biggest news for quarterback. A few other ones. Baker going back to the Bucks,
Yep. I think he deserved that.
and that's what he wanted to go back.
Yeah. And I think they kept Mike Evans too, and then he was like, all right, I want that.
All right, I want to go back.
Yep.
That was 3-year, $100 million.
Yep.
Mac Jones to the Jags.
As a backup. He'll be a backup.
Yep, backup. You think that he'll ever be a starting quarterback in the NFL again?
No.
I don't think that's too much of a hot take. I think that's just
I mean, to be honest, he'll
Understandable.
literally just be a backup.
Yeah.
Even if
I mean,
obviously injuries play a part, but I don't think he's ever good enough. Like, there's too much talent also with
other quarterbacks.
like even college quarterbacks coming in that are better than him. So it's like, yeah, you're not.
It's I mean the comparison would be a situation similar to what Gardner Minshew is. You know, like he spent a couple years as the backup, and now he's potentially going to be the starter in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
Which
I think he would need that. I think he would need a significant injury to happen to Trevor Lawrence, and then kind of prove that he's decent, and somebody be like,
Yeah.
all right, you'll get a chance, like you said in camp.
Yeah, that's fair. So with that being said, Gardner Minshew to the Raiders, 2-year, $25 million.
Yeah, which I don't think is really that bad. I think Gardner
That's
Minshew proved to be pretty. I mean, he proved to be a good quarterback. I mean, a decent quarterback.
Yeah, that's pretty good rate for him too.
Yeah, 100%.
12
He
and
was
a half.
always a backup.
For the Raiders, I mean,
Right.
right? That's not that much money.
Especially in this quarterback year or this quarterback industry, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Then the last one that I have is the Russ to the Steelers. 1.2 getting paid from the Steelers, the rest of it from the Broncos. So I mean, anywhere that he was going, that team was going to be loving that price.
Yeah, and I think the difference. This is a huge year, just in general for Russ, because if he doesn't play well, he's only getting paid 1.2. They're going to switch him out. He's going to get
Yes.
benched, and now I don't know if any team will take a chance on you. It'll be interesting to
Probably
see how
less
the
likely.
locker room stuff goes because that was like a huge thing too with the Broncos. He was just like kind of
It
being
was.
that guy. So
Yeah, I don't think that Mike Tomlin will let that happen.
no, I don't either.
He knows how to run a program. The other places that he's been, like, I mean, there's just been so much turmoil since he went to Denver
Mm-hmm.
that it was just gonna not be a good situation regardless of who was doing that. But now that he's in Pittsburgh, I mean, that situation is pretty settled.
Yeah.
So
And I think Pittsburgh gets it. I mean, I think it's a good time. I think obviously they drafted Kenny Pickett and loved him. So
but
I think-
he didn't amount to it.
no, I don't think he amounted to anything. But I'm saying if Russ struggles and he starts not making friends, I
Oh,
think
then
they
he-
quickly trigger out of
Oh,
there.
you do?
Yeah, I don't think they'll keep him for. I don't think he'll play. I mean, Mike Tomlin has a reputation of going over 500.
Yeah.
If Russ isn't doing that for him, I don't think they're will. I think they're willing to change right
So
away.
So do you think that Russ will stay the starter the whole year? Do you think he'll start the year and make it so like X amount of weeks? Do you think that he won't start as the starter? Like what? How do you see that?
I think he'll stay the starter because I think they'll actually always be competitive. I think he'll actually have a pretty good year. I mean, they have
So
obviously.
he's gonna play the whole year.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Deontay Johnson obviously being down hurts, but like I think they have decent weapons. Like I think George Pickens is a good receiver. Granted, he had great weapons in Denver, and I don't know.
Yeah,
didn't
there's
really do a
always
whole
some
lot.
injuries that happen to their wide receivers.
So
Okay, so how good do you think George Pickens is gonna be
I think
with Russ?
I think George Pickens has the talent.
Yeah, put it as like a top 15, top 40.
I think
receiver
top 30
in the league.
Top 30.
Okay,
Which probably isn't saying a whole lot
That's
because he's the
probably
number
about
one,
where
where he probably was. Yeah.
before. So it won't make that big of a difference.
No.
Okay.
Because I like I said, I also think losing Deontay Johnson hurts because now it's like, okay, we're going to zone in on Pickens.
Yeah, I think Russ will help him a little bit just because Russ is really good at downfield passing,
Mhm.
which I feel like anytime George Pickens is out there, like he's a big play waiting to happen. So
Yeah.
like that fits his style.
Yeah, Russ is kind of like, I think Russ needs to get back to the whole scramble around and make a play.
You know?
Yes, because that's what made him successful initially.
They got running backs that can pound it. That's what he likes.
Yeah.
So okay.
So we'll see.
Running backs, there's a lot of movement here. This is
This was the big one.
this is definitely the biggest one.
I mean, I think this has the most probably fantasy impact if we're talking for that. Because now you actually
yeah.
have to figure out who's on what team. There's
Right.
most of these guys aren't even on the same team.
I don't remember this being that different like other years in the past. Like this year has to have been. I think it was known that this was a big running back free agency year, but like it just seems like almost every single guy was moved.
Yeah. And guys that are getting moved and signed for, I mean, it's hard because it's just such a different market where it's like if a running back gets about $10 million a year, that's on the higher end
Yeah.
for some of these guys. So I
Right.
think that's, I mean, obviously longevity, but I just think also when you look like this year in the draft, like there's not really any running backs that are like, oh, a Bijan Robinson or a Jameer Gibbs. And maybe
Yeah,
I'm missing them,
right.
but even in the first round, I don't even know if there'll be a first round running back.
There might not be.
So,
But that also plays into the fact that it was such a big free agent running back year that
Yeah.
most
Teams
teams,
went out and got theirs.
probably have
yeah.
guys that they at least feel fairly comfortable with.
Or are willing to offer a guy 1 year for $10 million instead of going out and drafting somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right, so running through these quick, you got Derrick Henry to the Ravens.
yeah. Well, that was going to happen during the season.
Yeah, but it didn't.
It didn't. I don't know. I think Derrick Henry's a fine running back. I think obviously getting older, and he still shows some spurts, but like, he's not a good pass catcher, and
They don't need a pass catcher.
yeah, but you already have Lamar who loves this. I don't know. We'll wait and see how it is.
I think they love their grinded out, just banger of a running back. I mean, they love Gus Edwards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even J.K. Dobbins was a little bit of a pass catcher, but like he was still more of a banger than not. I think.
Yeah. He always just
I
too
don't know.
bad
I
with
never
injuries.
really
I mean, you
paid
could never-
attention to him because he wasn't in there long enough.
Well, yeah, you never had a chance. He was always unfortunately hurt for the whole seasons.
Big hometown one, Aaron Jones, Vikings, 1 year, $7 million. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying contracts right now.
No, not contracts, but I do think that was a big thing. I think
Huge signing.
I think after the Kirk news came out, and then the next day, like we were kind of like sitting here, and I think Ty Chandler's a good running back, but obviously we got rid of Madison, so it's like okay now, and Aaron Jones
is legit.
He's legit.
Yeah.
He's a legit running back, and you're getting him for a good price, and you're getting him on a 1 year.
And all he does against the Vikings is score touchdowns. So now maybe we can just do that.
Well, he's also a guy I feel like who will now have that big chip on his shoulder, saying like, "Hey,
watch out!
Yeah, watch out! I'm
What's
coming." And you got to play the team twice.
Yeah, you're so in the 2 games against the Packers next year. What's the over under on touchdowns scored for Aaron Jones?
I think total.
Yeah, in the 2 games
combined.
Yes,
I think he'll have 3 touchdowns.
So you're putting the line at 2.5.
2.5, and I'm taking the over.
Okay, what if it was at 3.5? Would you take the?
Are we talking pass catching and rushing?
Total touchdowns.
I would still say 3. So no, I would take the under. I'm sticking to 3.
Because
I'll say this. I do think the Vikings are going to try to get Ty Chandler involved more. Okay. I'm not saying they'll split, but I'm saying Ty Chandler last year proved that he should deserve some time.
He's a backup for a reason, though.
Yeah.
All right, we got Joe Mixon to the Texans, traded. He was going to get dropped, but then he got traded.
Yeah.
I never saw what they got for him, but who knows?
I think it's very interesting, the Bengals' moves this offseason. I just don't understand them, to be honest. But
I mean, honestly, it's probably all money related.
Yeah, it's all money related, but they've gotten rid of a lot of guys.
Well, they got rid of Joe Mixon because they picked up Zach Moss.
Yeah. No comment.
Yeah, we just keep moving. Saquon to the Eagles.
That's a big one.
That was a big one.
That's a huge one.
In division.
Well, there's been a few. There's been a lot of in division.
Yeah, so far, Aaron Jones to the Vikings. And
Saquon.
But
I think the Saquon is kind of a big move because I think when you watch last year, like, especially now with Kelsey retiring and whatever, I think their offensive line will still be fine, but I think they're trying to take more pressure off of Jalen Hurts having to scramble all the time, and Saquon's that guy. I think they thought DeAndre Swift would be that guy, and he just was never that guy. DeAndre Swift was allergic to scoring touchdowns.
I mean, he got all of his touchdowns vultured.
Right. Well, not even vultured. There were so many games where he got tackled at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
But you got to get in.
Yeah, that's true. I believe this was the biggest money-wise for the running backs for Saquon, which makes sense. He's the best running back that was on the market.
Yeah, 100%.
You got Gus Edwards going to the Chargers. That's an interesting signing because for so long their main running back has been a pass catcher, and now that you bring in Gus Edwards, granted you got a Ravens coach, I believe, that is on Harbaugh's staff as the offense coordinator.
Yep, but he's their starter. Because
Eckler's
not. Yeah, I know that's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting because I
can't remember, was his injury serious or not?
Gus Edwards?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was serious. No.
Oh, no.
I don't think he got hurt. That was J.K. Dobbins.
Oh.
Gus Edwards was playing.
Okay.
But Gus Edwards just kind of got replaced by whoever Keaton Mitchell or whatever his name is.
And then he had to play again because then he got
Keaton Mitchell got hurt. But I do think it's interesting because Harbaugh's a kind of more of a running guy.
So I guess this fits.
Yeah, but that offense is literally pass.
Yeah.
I know. Like Herbert wants to throw it 50
Their
times
offense will be one to watch.
Yep.
Josh Jacobs to the Packers.
Interesting deal. I mean, they basically chose Josh Jacobs over Aaron Jones, which I don't think it's a bad idea. But I mean, Josh Jacobs is fine. I do think it'll be interesting because we've talked about this off air. I don't think AJ Dillon's very good.
No,
I think AJ Dillon got his chance last year.
Most people think AJ Dillon's good.
I know, but the crazy thing was, I think a lot of people love the whole. I think Josh Jacobs plays that bruiser mentality. So I think he'll take, obviously, the majority of the carries. I just don't see AJ Dillon fitting in very much.
No, that's just a security blanket.
Yeah.
Would you say that it's an upgrade for the Packers going from Aaron Jones to Josh Jacobs, or would you say that it's a downgrade going from Aaron Jones to Josh Jacobs?
I think it's probably, I would say...
You can't say
in the middle. I think it's an upgrade then. I think Josh Jacobs has put up a lot of good numbers. I think he's always just been on the Raiders, so it's like they're not very good and they're always playing from behind. But I think Josh Jacobs is a pretty solid running back. But
Okay.
I mean, I think it's 55% positive, 45%. Like it's right there in the middle. If I could say it was a neutral, it was a neutral. But I can't. So it's the same.
Okay. Eckler going to the Commanders.
Yeah, that's just a last ditch effort. I mean, Eckler looked so bad last year, and
He did look bad,
I just don't know about it.
but you'd think that he's going to be the starter, considering
Well,
that
yeah, 'cause
Antonio
Gibson's
Gibson,
gone, yeah.
he's on the Patriots.
You think? I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they use though Brian Robinson, because Brian Robinson last year was a pretty good running back for the Commanders.
The combination of Brian Robinson and Eckler makes a lot more sense than
Antonio Gibson.
Antonio Gibson.
Yes. I mean, we'll see what Eckler can do. Obviously, this is like a prove it year for Eckler.
He got a 2-year contract, but
Yeah, but he's still got to prove something because they do love Brian Robinson, and he put up some big numbers last year. So
yeah, he did.
for the time being,
You got Tony Pollard to the Titans, which is also different because, I mean, them and the Chargers, they're going from a big bruising running back to now a guy that is definitely more shifty.
yeah, and I think it's a very interesting move. Obviously, last year Tony Pollard probably wasn't exactly what people wanted him to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it's kind of interesting where it's like, as looking at it from a Cowboys perspective, like they haven't made any moves for any of these running backs, and so now it's like you're kind of stuck with either Rico Dowdle, you're drafting a guy, or potential. I don't even know if there's really anyone else out there.
No idea.
So
I mean, there's got to be somebody, but
not any big names like this, and I don't think anyone that's equivalent. I think Tony Pollard's a fine running back. I think you have an offense that you want to throw the ball all the time. You have great weapons, and obviously Dax was very good last year. So I think it's an interesting thing.
How do
because
you think he's going to be on the Titans?
I think he'll struggle because I think the Titans will play from behind, and Tajay Spears has been freaking Will Levis is one of his favorite targets when they're down.
Don't you think that Tony Pollard would be a good target to?
I think Tajay
when
Spears.
they're down?
I actually don't even understand the signing. I think they should have just rode with Tajay Spears. So I don't think so. I think
Too young.
I too young.
Yeah.
How do you learn? What do you mean too young? What does too young mean? He's been in the league for 2 years. This is his second year.
Yeah, this is his second year.
Yeah, what's too young?
I don't think he's got it.
Wait,
Still
what?
got to learn. He's got to learn from TP.
I don't know about that, but
DeAndre Swift to the Bears.
yeah, interesting. I mean, like I said, I think that's also a team who has young running backs, Roshan Johnson and stuff. But I think the Bears are just a wild card.
It at least gives them some stability in the backfield with whoever their new quarterback is.
Well, Caleb Williams.
Probably.
So it'll definitely give him some stability. Like I said before, I don't know how he'll be, but
He'll be there for a while, 3 years.
yeah, 3 years, yeah.
Last one, Devin Singletary to the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You upgraded Devin Singletary to Joe Mixon if you're the Texans. So I think it's fine. I don't see why. I think Devin Singletary was a fun story, but he's never going to be that guy that's like elite or top 15.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think Joe Mixon can play that role now, and I think he's better for that team.
Yeah.
But see, that's what they did. They got
And
rid of their...
Damian Pierce is gone and done.
Yeah, they got their starter. Or they got rid of their starter, so they replaced him with a new one. That's what teams should do.
He was only the starter for the back half of the year, but
he was fine. He was a good player.
so what do you think about the money piece of the running back market? That was a big thing last year where they were all up in arms and commenting on the running back prices and not being paid and everything. Do you think that what you've seen from the different contracts of these running backs, do you think that was sorted out? Do you think that it's just a Band-Aid on the bigger problem? Do you think that it still has a long ways to go? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's always going to be a tough spot to give them a lot of money. I think, like I said before, if you're getting 10 to 15 years as a running back,
15
million a
per
year.
year.
Yeah, and if you can sign more than a 1 or 2 year deal, that's very good. But that's probably on the upper end of people. I mean, a lot of these guys who just got signed were 1 or 2 year deals.
Yeah, so there's a number of 3-year deals actually. So you got Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs are 1 year plus, if you will.
Yeah.
You got Derrick Henry, Zach Moss.
I thought Derrick Henry was a 2 year.
Yeah.
Oh, these are 2 years?
These are 2 years now.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, Zach Moss, Gus Edwards, Austin Eckler. Those are all 2-year deals.
Mm-hmm.
And the majority of these deals are around like 5. Well, Gus Edwards is a little bit lower, 2 year, $6.5 million. So he's like 3 and change per year. But most of the deals are like 5 to 8 million per year or
Yeah.
so.
But I think it'll always be like that because I think, like a lot of people always say, the running back position, your average NFL career is probably, 6 years?
2 contracts.
Yeah, 2 contracts if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And
So then you got the 3-year deals are Saquon, Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift, Devin Singletary, Antonio Gibson. Those are the 3-year
Antonio
deals.
Gibson's is weird. I think another 3.
That's only $11.25 million total, so that's 3 years. So that's less than $4 million a year. That's pretty cheap.
Yeah, I mean they're getting these guys cheaper. I think it's just the difference is it's like with these younger guys. Like I said, once you get off your rookie contract, I don't think any team's really wanting to give a lot of money to running backs because they can be replaced.
Right. Yep.
So I think they
find good athletic running backs.
Yeah, I think that you can always find guys, and it's obviously moving to a passing league.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not a lot of teams who are very successful running the ball, but so I don't know. I don't know. It's not a lot of money to put the wear and tear on your body compared to these quarterbacks getting 40, 50, 60 million. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Pretty
I don't think it will
difference.
ever change though. I just don't.
Who's the biggest signing so far?
The biggest signing?
Yeah.
Like the biggest impact?
The biggest signing.
I would say Saquon to the Eagles. I think it was one of the missing pieces they had, and I also think interdivision is always just going to rile some feathers, and I think he'll be very good on the Eagles. I think their offense will be very good. Obviously, they have all the studs, but it comes down to defense for them. But I think he has to be one of the biggest signings, if not the biggest, in my opinion.
Yep. I think what a lot of people will say is Kirk as the biggest signing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Kirk does.
My vote is Derrick Henry to the Ravens for a similar reason. I think that they were looking for a guy that was consistent, fit the style that they want from the running back position on the Ravens, and I feel like Derrick Henry, it would have made sense last year when it came out that there was some interest there. Now that it's happened, I feel like that is going to be a good situation for him.
Yeah. We'll see.
What's the dumbest signing? What's the one that makes no sense to you?
The dumbest signing is probably going to have to go with Josh Jacobs because I just don't think Josh Jacobs, like I said, is that much better than Aaron Jones. And I know it's kind of a favorable contract for the Packers, but I think Aaron Jones fit well with that scheme and fit well with that team. So I would have to say that has to be the dumbest signing, Josh Jacobs to the Packers.
I'm going to go with Devin Singletary to the Giants.
What's wrong with that?
I think that they overpaid. 3 years doesn't make any sense. And it's a guy that has been a backup for the majority of his time in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes no sense to me. I mean, you've got to fill that spot with somebody, but you're telling me that they like that over Antonio Gibson, $11 million for 3 years? Or
how much is Singletary?
16.5.
So
it's over 5.
Yeah.
It's 5 and
change.
5.4 or ish.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just
that team
like that's a lot of money. And
Giants are stink.
Yeah, it's not going to move the needle at all. You could find 50 running backs that can do the same things.
I don't know about 50, but yeah.
30.
I mean, he was a starting running back on a team last year. But yeah, I agree.
He was a starting running back because the starter got hurt.
Yeah. Played decent.
He played decent, yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's just
you
play decent so you get a decent
Could Rico
contract.
Dowdle play decent if he's the starter?
No. Rico Dowdle stinks.
I think he could,
I
think he could play decent.
What is decent?
If he's a starter.
I think Devin Singletary's decent will be better than Rico Dowdle's.
Yeah, but there's nobody to say that he's going to be the starter. So it's tough to make that.
Oh, you're talking about Rico Dowdle? Or
Yeah.
are you talking about...
Either, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, Devin Singletary will likely be the starter because they paid him.
Well, who else? I don't even know who else they have.
I don't know either.
Yeah. I mean, Rico Dowdle... The difference is if Rico Dowdle doesn't... If they don't make a move or draft anyone, I think you have to think Rico Dowdle's probably their starter unless they're going with Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah, that's the other option.
Well, both. Yeah, I mean,
Not
good luck.
great.
Yeah, I guess that's what you get for waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Just throw the ball every play.
But those are the big ones that came out. I mean, there's been some defensive signings, but if you're all in on defensive players, then you can look those
Feel
up.
free. Make sure you do your homework. We'll talk about it again when fantasy comes around, but there's a lot of people on new teams.
So don't forget it.
Don't forget it. Do your homework.
All right, y'all. We'll talk to y'all later.
Peace.
Smooth.
And then you got to start with the ASMR.